Hey, what's up? I'm Liz, the Splitsy DIY, and this Rover robot project has really been dragged out for a while now. We've got like one more thing to talk about, and then we can stop. It's okay. Because at the end of the day, this project, it was really just because I wanted to make a stupid little robot, and it got more into the controller side of things, which its final form is now finally here. So today, in light of there being already a few videos on all of the progress of this, from the code to the Rover to how this is actually working to the PCB design and the pitfalls of that, the bodging that followed, we now have the final remote control housing, and as promised, it involves a cat. So I'm pretty into this design. It was inspired big time by the Wii nunchuck, specifically the, well, I guess that is the name of it. The nunchuck is the part of the controller that has the kind of analog joystick portion. I've always thought that was a really pleasing aesthetic design and also really nice to use as well. So I wanted to kind of emulate that with this weird cat remote for the robot, and that's why the shape is like so a bit wider, not as ergonomic because I am not a CAD master, but good enough for a CAD cat. So the main PCB is screwed in here. There's space underneath the PCB for the battery to live so that you can power up the remote and control the robot. And wow, do I really, really wish now that I'd include a power switch for this stupid thing. The remote is in two parts. There's the bottom portion, and then right where you see the blue here, that's the top portion. So the PCB can basically sit in the little ledge of the main body, and then this sits on top. And there are 6 screws that hold this down, 2 that go into the 2 mounting holes on the PCB. Why I only put 2 mounting holes on that PCB is beyond me. And then the screws right here and the screws in the front are what allow the housing to kind of stay together. I played around with a couple different versions of this. One part of the design I tried for a bit was to have these little pegs that would fit together. I've done that before for things that are glued up. I didn't like it for this. It just didn't work out. Yeah. But overall, the design's pretty funky. And then, of course, the cat PCB can easily sit in the front, no problem. Let's talk about the cat piece for a bit. I did that freehand, you can probably tell, with sketches in Fusion 360. I didn't import anything or anything like that, because I just wanted it to kind of be this simple cat design. I also wanted it to print easily as well. The PCB just fits really snugly into the cat shape, because there's a little cutout in the back here. So then it's basically a force fit around the edges and the LEDs. The way that I was able to get these kind of force fit things with the 2 PCBs is the fact that Eagle talks to Fusion 360. Because of that, I was able to bring the PCBs into Fusion 360 and use them to cut the shapes that I was drawing around for the actual CAD design, and that made it so that everything was placed properly, everything like that. So anytime you can do that, I really recommend it. It really makes a difference. Why a cat? I don't know, I like cats, we've gone over this. Also, I liked the idea of it looking like the cat was screaming the LEDs, and so if we take that metaphor a little further, it's like when you change direction with the remote, it's like the cat is screaming at the robot and the robot is doing its bidding. Is that too far? Is that too much? I like it. It's kind of existential. It kind of reminds me of my cats too, because like one of my cats likes to run around a lot, and when she's trotting along, sometimes she'll yawn, but she doesn't stop. She just keeps going. So it's kind of like she's like screaming silently while she's running. That was kind of my inspiration for this whole thing. For the actual printing, I ended up, this obviously is the orientation for the top, and then I just put supports on the underneath there. But for the actual remote body, I actually printed it this way with supports here. And a lot of you will probably be like, why would you do that? Well, 2 reasons, one practical, one aesthetic. The practical reason is that when you print it like that, it means the screw holes don't get all weird, because when you're printing a circle in 3D printing, like Angus over at Maker's Muse, he's done a couple of videos on this. When you print circles, they actually, with the way 3D printing works, if it's printing on the side, it like actually is kind of like a squish circle. So if you print it like this, it doesn't get that effect as bad, at least, so it makes it so that the screws fit in nicely for this. And then the aesthetic reason is I wanted this remote to have racing stripes. Very important. The reason why, it resulted from a mistake. When I did the first draft of this remote, I was running low on the blue filament that I'd used for the cat. And I actually ran out mid-print. And so luckily I caught it before it got too raunchy. And I had some black filament left over, so I just threw it in on the top. I really liked how that color combination looked. The fact that you had this really light blue with the dark black, it looked really nice. So that's when I decided to actually switch it and make it so that most of the remote was going to be black with these kind of blue racing stripes. So there are 2 stripes here on the actual body, and then the top has the blue base, and then I threw a color change right when the kind of curved top begins. So a lot of color changes when I was printing the actual remote body, which was a little annoying because like if you're trying to like do stuff and your printer just keeps sending out this horrendous high-pitched beep, that's a lot to deal with. But despite the annoyances, it printed really well. 2.5 millimeter nylon screws are what's holding this together, and we have, at the end of the day, a kind of sort of ergonomic remote design to control our little Rover robot. Does the remote match the color scheme of the Rover robot? No, it does not. Damn shame. But that's okay. I mean, to be honest with you, this kind of turned more into me wanting to play around with the remote concept. That became way more fun. I just got really into the PCB design and then housing design of the remote. This whole project in general was just kind of like me playing around and kind of exploring a concept that I don't normally do. I don't normally do robotics or motors or anything like that. So it was just kind of playing around and practicing with different techniques. I liked having 2 sets of code that were communicating with each other. That was cool. I liked PCB. It gave me another excuse to do a PCB design and utilize the services of OshPark. And IR communication, I think, is pretty cool. It's a little old school, but I like it. And I also just wanted to see if the idea of the joystick sending the IR commands would work, and it did, pretty reliably. I don't normally design stuff that looks like this, all curved and stuff to fit in the hand, so that was also cool. But that's gonna do it for this video, and I think this project. I think we're finally done. Let me know in the comments if you liked this kind of spread out project log, because for me, it made it so that I could work on this at a normal human pace and also work on other things, but still get a video done about it. So let me know how you felt about it. Not that I'll take it into consideration, because if anything, these past few months I've proven to myself that when I ask people, oh, what do you think? What should I do next? I go, yeah, I'm just still gonna do what I feel like. Not a good person. But yeah, gonna do it for this video. If you liked it, toss me a thumbs up. Leave any questions or comments down below. I'll try to have as many of the resources as possible down in the description, as well as a link on Thingiverse, where you can print your own cat nunchuck IR joystick analog remote. Thank you for watching. Consider subscribing for more content like this. If you want to see what happened before with this robot, maybe I'll make a playlist. Maybe I'll throw it down there. That would probably make sense, wouldn't it? Yeah, I'll do that. Until next time, this has been Blitz City DIY. I leave you with a cat screaming LEDs.